Thank you very much, Faisal and the Mandela School for organizing this, I would say, timely exercise and session discussion dialogue, because as the AfCFTA becomes implemented, these are the sort of issues that governments and policymakers would have to face. How to use after boosting intra-Africa trade, how to use it as a form of industrialization. Now, many interesting and very useful points have been raised. It's difficult in a few minutes to capture all of them, but I hope that the summary note will highlight them. But I think what the COVID-19 has done, especially with the disruption, lockdowns, disruption in production and trade, is that it has really shown the limits of this form of trade. The global value chains has limits. This idea that it can fragment the production of various products into different components and keep the high value ones in the north and the low value, low productivity activities sort of disperse them into locations where wages are low, production cost is low, regardless of distance, because with improvement in transport and communications and so on, distance has become less concern. That era is now being questioned. In fact, the big companies are also themselves, they are rethinking. This is another good reason for thinking in terms of regional value chains, in addition to the fact that in Africa now we have the CFTA. But I think the export-led industrialization model that Ethiopia and many other African countries, Kenya and others, thought that they should get into, I think that is being now reconsidered. Having regional agreement and having firms is one thing, but I think what really equally important drives this value chains, regional or global, is the way investment, trade, industrial policy, labor policy are coordinated and managed at country level and regional level. This is going to be critical. Another I want to highlight is the role and the development of private sector is really, really critical. I think ever since Africa Union started discussing about intra-Africa trade, and then this ambitious but necessary regional agreement through AfCFTA, one thing that governments have to think about is that to boost trade, you really have to have the private sector to produce goods that you need to trade. Luckily, so far, although in terms of overall intra-Africa trade is still relatively low compared to other regions, although it has been rising about, I think, 18, 19%. But as many of us have highlighted in the past, half of that trade is in manufacturing, which gives hope. That means that when African countries trade with each other, they trade in products where value is added rather than raw material. Now, this is very encouraging.